Congratulations, you found the Twin Cities Hit Show.
Very well. Where do I begin?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
Reach for this one.
And now, a real hit show.
It's hump day.
Hump day!
Live from the Twin Cities, it's the Twin Cities Hit Show.
Hump day! Anybody?
It's hump day.
Let's get this hit show started.
Are there hump days during the summer?
I have not had a hump day in several months.
You're talking about intercourse.
Oh.
I'm talking about when the week is so long, and then there's the middle of the week. It's like getting over a hump.
Oh.
And then you have intercourse.
As you know, I don't really pay attention to the song, so I didn't really follow that. That makes sense then. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's why you play that every week.
On Wednesday. I can stop.
Oh, it's on Wednesday.
I'm getting sick of it. It's,
I'm ready to. I actually like it.
Do you?
Yeah. We're halfway. There are people in the world, unlike us, that are still working and stuff.
What is wrong with them?
I don't know. They haven't seen the glory days of podcasting.
Huh.
Yeah.
Are they illegal immigrants? Because I'm all for it.
48%, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put those rapists to work.
Yeah, put those rapists to work. Speaking of putting rapists to work, just kidding. It was a bad segue. Hey, it's Robert Baril, local comedian.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I got to admit, I thought it was Robert Duvall we had coming in. And,
yeah.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Ever since I played Boo Radley. It's just in the Warwood Summer Theater production of To Kill a Mockingbird. They still talk about it. And
do they?
Ever since then, the comparisons have slowly been building up.
Yeah, I could see
I do
that.
a mean Boo Radley.
Yeah.
Ready to listen to it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. Did you see that?
That was good.
Did you see that? Yep.
That's exactly. In that moment of silence. Yeah, that's
sure.
exactly. Yeah.
That's what it takes. That's the key to a good Boo Radley.
Key to a
If
good
you
word.
talk, it's over.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's good.
Some would say Donald Trump should become Boo Radley. His
Yeah,
talking,
I would agree with that. That seems fair.
his talking though is so much fun. I love it when he talks. Keep talking, Donald. You're hilarious.
Well, and he moved up in the polls, too, after all that stuff about
awesome.
Mexicans. He was, I think Bush was at like 19 and Trump was at 14 or something on the poll of, obviously, again, polls mean nothing this far in advance, but it's some crap news for CNN to report, aside from Bill Cosby. So they do, and yeah, good for him. There's no way he's winning a general election, so the further he goes in it, the more I support it.
Our own Michelle Bachmann was on top for a moment.
Yeah,
Wow.
she won the Iowa. Actually, there's talk now like she was the one that pretty much caused the death knell for the Iowa straw poll because now Republicans have no interest in even participating in it since she won and then fizzed out after a few weeks.
But they're all down there in the cornfield these days, shaking hands and looking awkward in overalls and leaning next to tractors like, hey, this is what's this called again? Ha ha, tractor.
Yeah, Rick Santorum speaking in front of crowds of one.
As he should.
There's a little bit of justice in this world. Not very much, but as long as Rick Santorum's crowd is the same size of mine at the poorhouse, I'm happy with that.
I like the poorhouse. Hey, our crowd is building too. We have another guest, Chuck, coming
Mr.
into
Joey
the studio.
Vincent. Hey, look at this. Have you guys met? Oh,
You got to-
I'm going to turn your mic on. That might help a little bit.
There we go. Oh, that's my
You're going to have to lean into that thing.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So you guys have actually worked together, so this is a weird...
What work?
Little bit of a
Work is
reunion.
stretch.
Little bit of a reunion, yeah.
You're in your highly paid
You
radio
were
gig
in
and-
the workhouse? How does this, what, huh?
No, do I look like I could survive in the workhouse? Come on.
If you became Boo Radley,
Maybe.
I would've
If
sold
you
him
were his
for a-
bitch, maybe.
I would have sold him for a bag of chips day one. Go ahead, take him for an hour. Give some Doritos.
I hope they were good chips, Joey.
Cool Ranch.
I hope they were good chips.
Cool Ranch.
The horrors. The horrors. Then I would be Boo Radley after that.
where was the work? What did you guys do?
Well, we've done comedy together. We've done
Nice.
We've done podcasts together. We've done radio together.
We did 420 themed shows together.
Oh yeah.
Say that's not true.
That's like pot related.
Well, technically, every one of my shows is 420 themed.
That's true. There is a loose
420 is about
correlation.
pot. I thought it was time.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
square.
No kidding.
Cop.
So, like marijuana.
Cops should know this stuff.
Yeah, I like marijuana.
Okay. Yeah.
What
Yeah,
we
I
do
like
here when
Nice
you
Bob Marley poster. I'm
Thanks.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
observing where I'm at now.
Speaking of marijuana, you're at the Alive and Social Studios in. Are we South Minneapolis? Not
South
really.
Minneapolis.
Are we?
Yeah,
just barely south of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Anyway, what we do here is we kind of skip through quickly some of the events that happened overnight, and your mics are open, so feel free to comment on it. There's an update on Jared, that Subway pedophile. Not much to update, but here's from CBS a quick moment of what's happening with our lovely Jared, the Subway spokesperson. He's suspended.
Good morning. Jared Fogle famously dropped 245 pounds on a diet consisting of Subway sandwiches.
First of all, do we call bullshit on that? Did he actually drop 242 pounds eating only Subway?
And doing child porn.
Well, every time I've ate Subway, it's made me go to the bathroom immediately. So it
yeah.
could have been kind of a thing like that.
Yeah, that's a good
All right.
point.
All right.
He later started a foundation to encourage kids to be healthy. But its executive director was arrested earlier this year on child pornography charges, and it now appears Fogle is also now under investigation.
So it was a foundation for children, and the guy who's running it is a pedophile. Yeah. Aren't there radars for that? I mean, you got gaydar. Aren't there pedophile radars for that?
Maybe that's why he dropped all the weight. He's like tired of like having to sleep with ugly kids. And he's like, I need to get in shape so I can attract some attractive children.
That's a very good call.
But he hires a guy. I mean, I can't imagine the job interview. Yes, I will run your child organization. You don't even have to pay me.
Birds of a feather, man. He's like, hey, I don't know. There's something about you I like. And I want you to run the phone. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Would you like a can of Jesus juice? Let's talk about this.
Yeah, I've told you, when I went through college, the University of St. Thomas, one of my undergrad instructors and one of my master's degree instructors both went to prison for raping little kids. Freaky. So I think a lot of these people put themselves up as, we're here to help kids discover something new.
Well, he's not been convicted yet, but we'll listen a little bit more of Jared's story.
Hi, I'm Jared, the Subway guy.
For 15 years, Jared Fogle has been the face of Subway. Now he's caught up in a child porn case.
Yeah. You got anything to say?
Federal and state investigators arrived Tuesday morning to search Fogle's home in Zionsville, about half an hour north of Indianapolis.
He was a private neighbor for the most part. We didn't see
Aren't
him
they all?
outside
Israel?
too much,
He lives
mostly
in
his family
Israel?
and his wife and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But we never really thought anything too strange.
Nice house,
We
by
just
the
figured
way.
He liked to remain private.
Agents were seen bringing computers, DVD players, and other items from the house to a...
First of all, that horrifies me. If the cops come to my house right now and look at it won't be child pornography.
Yeah. Adult pornography.
Stuff on
But
there.
I feel like, but after all the child porn stuff, like, I feel like you could almost hold your head high, like,
Yeah.
let people know. Let them know.
Yeah.
That donkey's of age. Let them know.
Those lesbians fully enjoyed peeing on each other.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
awkward.
technically, I saw two cups in the background of the filming. Technically,
More with Jared.
forensics lab parked in the driveway. As his home was being searched, Fogle left in a car driven by his attorney, Ron
Walk of
Elberger,
shame.
who said his client had done nothing wrong and was cooperating with investigators. Elberger added he has not been detained, arrested, or charged with any crime or offense.
Wouldn't it be great if one time a lawyer said, "Oh, this fucker's guilty"?
that would be good.
Jared's lawyer was very forthcoming.
Jared's lawyer, also a pedophile, said he did nothing wrong.
That I could see.
I want to see Jared go in and try and get his free Subway sandwich now. They're like, dude, no.
Well, so he does. Jared, I am your biggest fan.
Fogle became a household name as the spokesman for Subway. His dramatic weight loss helped position the company as a healthy eating option.
I lost 245 pounds, and I've kept it off.
But on Tuesday, Subway suspended their partnership and took down part of its website dedicated to Fogle. In 2004, Fogle established the Jared Foundation to fight childhood obesity. In May, Russell Taylor, the nonprofit's executive director, was arrested for producing and possessing child pornography.
Ew.
It's unclear if that investigation is related to the search of Fogle's home.
Really?
It's pretty depressing as a Zionsville resident to see this. This is definitely going to affect not only Jared, but Subway as a company, and it's just sad that this had to happen.
It's a horrible day for pedophiles everywhere.
I like that he's sad. It's really hard for the company.
Poor
it's
Subway.
really going to affect Subway bad.
Oh, Subway's going to have a bad day.
Yeah.
Bad Sub. Who would even? How dumb would you have to? Well, if you eat Subway, you're supporting pedophiles. What? Every footlong that you get,
footlong.
to,
I never.
One more hour of lawyering that he can have.
And forget Bill Cosby. Jared's never going to get a gig again now. I mean, even if he gets exonerated or whatever, it's just, ew.
No, he'll be Taco Bell. I gained 40 pounds eating Taco Bell. I'm Jared.
They're going to run him out of Zionsville, that's for sure.
Oh, man. See, it's proof of the Zionsville conspiracy.
There just seems something really shady about something called the Jared Foundation.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah. Just one name? Just one, and then the name is Jared? Like, what? Is it Socks for Hillbillies? I wouldn't trust anything called the Jared Foundation.
I'm all for Socks for Hillbillies, though. There's nothing wrong there.
What? I think this might have been an old Seinfeld bit, but like, what was he eating before Subway? That Subway caused him to lose. Oh, okay, that might have been it. Yeah, he was doing the whole
little Sammy
thing.
sandwiches is what they were.
Yeah. Although to be fair, like it is good. Like it's good exercise for kids to like try to run away from the pedophile. So in that sense, it is healthier. You are burning calories. Running for dear life.
The Jared Foundation track team is so fast.
No, let's not exaggerate. They're not murdered. Absolutely. They're just sexually abused. That's total exaggeration.
Well, I mean, to be like you said, the Katie Couric or whoever was on that clip talking about it was saying like he hasn't been charged with anything himself yet. It could just be like terrible. He might just be the most unlucky guy in the history of Subway.
Nice house. They just showed his house.
Yeah.
Well, I like the innuendo. I mean, it's pure innuendo and speculation. But hey, let's run with it.
On Jared, he put some weight back on.
He did.
He wants to stop eating those sandwiches.
I think when he's in between commercials, he lets himself go a bit.
Look how red
has like
his face
tweaky orgies and such. And then it's like, Jared, you're shooting a commercial in a month, and then he gets back into the gym and cranks the Rocky theme music. Do we care that the Chinese stock market is crashing?
Yeah. The yen is
we've been hearing about Greece having issues, and that's ongoing. They're like, hell no, we're not going to repay your debt or get a job.
Good.
Yeah, austerity. Yeah,
bring down the system.
That's the worst way to go about it, is austerity.
Yeah.
Well, here's a bit from China. Hold on.
Good morning. The plunge in the stock market here has nothing to do with Greece. It is not linked to that, but it could be overall quite destabilizing. It's a domestic issue here in China, so concerning to the ruling Communist Party that they have injected money trying to shore up investors and try to stop panic selling. We have seen the Shanghai index drop more than 30% since its peak in June. But if you compare it to a year ago, still the index is up more than 70%. The stock market here in China makes up a smaller percentage of the overall economy than the stock market in the United States, for instance. So these massive swings have less of an overall impact. The investors are different, too. There are about 80% of them are small mom and pop investors. And the government actually encouraged many of them to get involved. And therefore, you had many people investing heavily and borrowing heavily to get involved. So now the government is trying to do what it can using state media, for instance, to try to allay fears and concerns. So this is very often the headline these days here in China. Economy is still on the right track.
It's okay, everybody. Did you see the story, 60 Minutes? They were like in China, they were building entire exotic like McMansion neighborhoods, investing because the housing market was going crazy. You can't go wrong with, and no one was actually living in these things.
They're all boys' rooms, no girls' rooms. So
they've got like
part of the Jared Foundation.
They're facing kind of the same crap that we went through with. Hey, get a loan and buy a house and buy a building.
Yeah, spend money you don't have. Borrow.
Exactly, yeah.
So China actually has real money, though, now. I think
they do?
Yeah, they have actual wealth.
Yeah, they have actual wealth.
Their money actually is worth something, though. So.
Yeah. How's the dollar compared to the yen?
I don't know compared to the yen. I know we passed the euro now. I know the euro dropped like 35
Thanks,
cents.
Greece.
Yeah. Grease that up. So I guess we shouldn't be so concerned that China's having a stock market issue?
It depends. If they lose enough money, they might want to come get all the money that we owe them, and then that could be ugly.
Don't answer the door. It's China. Hang up. Who's calling? China. Hang up.
Did they fix their birthing? They're not doing that. That you can only have one male child or one child, and preferably male. They do that anymore?
I don't know.
They were doing. You can only have one kid. They're trying to control the population.
Uh-huh.
And then typically, what was happening?
I think with the black market organ type thing, that they just want to have as many kids as possible.
Yeah,
they can
harvest.
sell Dick Cheney more hearts.
Well, and then also on trial, speaking of doctors, you hear about this Dr. Fada, who's facing life in prison now. He was at one time a highly respected oncologist, a cancer doctor. Here's a bit of his story. Nice guy.
Free Press says a doctor who prescribed excessive or unnecessary cancer treatments faced his victims in court. Prosecutors say Dr. Farid Fatah had more than 550 victims. He fraudulently billed $34 million to Medicare and faces life in prison.
Normally you get like 8 rounds of chemo. Yeah. He as much as 90. Yeah. He was like, hey, you need some more. Double down on the chemo, man.
For what? Did he have some sort of connection?
Yeah, billing. He was billing Medicare.
He was billing the service or whatever. Yeah, to $34 million. People died. Yeah. He's facing 127 years in prison. He's trying to negotiate for, can I just get 25?
Yeah, a lot of these people were entirely healthy, and he told them they had cancer. Like, oh, you're in for hang now.
That's extreme.
Got it.
Isn't the success rate of chemotherapy like super low to start with? Like it's kind of a scam anyway. Like for all the ones that are even selling it to people who they claim need it, when it's a fraction of them that were actually responding.
I don't know. I think scam's a strong word, but I think it's a last hope. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it if they said your chance of survival is pretty low, but you could, chemo, you could extend your life a year. Yeah, screw it.
I'm going to do anything. I'll do anything.
You're just
give me the
to
chemo.
Live.
Yeah,
you're desperate for life.
Kind of like life,
Yeah.
Give me the chemo. I'll do anything. Give me a bag of chips. I'll do anything.
If I get cancer, I'm just going to start robbing banks.
Oh, good call.
Just going to keep doing that.
Yeah, it's actually a really good call.
Until I get caught.
Do you need a driver?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm getting my license back next month.
Nice.
Maybe the judge could just keep prescribing more jail time. Like, well, normally it would just be 15 years, but in your case, I would recommend 45.
Kind of think you need some more.
But in your case.
Yeah.
And then it's I got to figure out how I land on global warming, because I thought we had this figured out, and now today.
Oh, that it's a myth?
No, well, I thought it was confirmed science.
No, it's a myth.
But a Nobel laureate on climate change says Obama is dead wrong and gets bad advice. And this is Avar Ghavari won a Nobel Prize in 1973 physics for his work on quantum tunneling. Wonder if the prisoners in upstate New York were studying his work.
Here's how I know climate change is myth.
Tunneling.
Here's how you know climate change. It's not in the Bible. Obviously myth.
Good point.
Yeah.
Just like dinosaurs.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But unicorns are in the Bible. So.
But this guy, he supported Obama when he was a senator and running, and now he's changed his mind. Granted, this guy's, getting up in years, but...
what was it? If you stick with him after the drones, after the TV... like, out of all the reasons to turn on Obama, global warming, I think, is the absolute dumbest...
That's it.
Well, he's gone too far.
Not the sky murder. Not the corporate treaties that, allow us to,
the Pacific Rim job?
The multinational overlords. That's...
You know where he lost me? For the last correspondence dinner.
No, Chuck's racist.
Yeah, you stay out. The last correspondence dinner, they didn't serve a beef entree. I'm done with that guy.
Holy cow.
Done. Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
There's just chicken and pork, no beef.
This guy said...
that's strange for a Muslim, all that pork. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's video of this guy's 30-minute speech. We're not going to look at that. But he said, in short, that Obama's beliefs are ridiculous. Mr. President, you are wrong. Dead wrong. Good Lord.
You said this guy's old, right?
Yeah, he's old.
He probably sold out for a check at the very end. He's like, I need to leave some money for my family. See what big oil will pay me, because I did this study about holes or something.
Quantum tunnels.
Holes or something.
Sounds like a nerdy euphemism for sex. I was quantum tunneling this girl the other night.
Quantum tunneling this
so deep.
girl.
He went on to accuse NASA and federal scientists of fiddling with temperatures. They can fiddle with the data. That is what NASA does. He even accused Nature magazine of wanting to cash in on the climate fad. Nature magazine.
No, that's also... Actually, Nature is a myth.
You mean Big Nature.
Big Nature.
The band has its own.
That Big Nature Lobby.
Yeah, the Big Nature Lobby group.
Yeah.
With their koalas and Yogi Bear.
My friends, I said, should not make fun of nature because they won't publish my papers. No one mentions how important CO2 is for plant growth. It's a wonderful thing. Plants are really starving. They don't talk about how good it is for agriculture and CO2. That CO2 is increasing. Bring it on.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Again,
I would imagine the video is almost like one of those like terrorist hostage videos where it's just like a shaky cam. You can see just like the blood dripped hand of like big oil like turning the script pages and like, oh, we need more pollution because the plants are hungry, I guess. This isn't tunneling.
Here's what I picture. Him in front of that sheet with the pitchfork in his hand. He's wearing a mask and there's a bunch of plants wilted in front of him. He's
now you're just making it sound hot.
Yeah, I know.
That's what you know.
Yeah.
He said, why are we wasting money on solar cells and windmills rather than helping people? People have been misled. It costs money in the end to do that, build windmills. Energy is cheap right now. We're wasting money on windmills and solar power. Dude, you're going to...
Snopes.
He can sound more like a shill. That's just because you're reading the shill
What about
script.
people? What about all the people we have in the Middle East that are dying needlessly
Yeah,
for the oil? For the oil.
We should burn them and render them into
Yeah.
oil. That would make gas out of those people.
Wow.
Okay, good. So I'm going to discount him as a no thank you.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, we still have time. They're going to run again today, but they ran yesterday. The Bulls in Pompeii.
With a
Or not
bang,
Pompeii.
it began. Yesterday's manic half-mile daredevil dash through the narrow streets of Pamplona. Pumped-up bulls charged the crowd, looking to impale easy targets. For thousands of thrill seekers, the challenge is not only staying a step ahead of a half-ton of bull and horn, but to avoid tripping over the guys in front.
Sounds like marriage.
I started running and veered off to the right side of the course.
That's where 38-year-old Mike Webster from Florida came undone.
The bulls were coming out behind me, and I noticed another person in front of me. I couldn't get around him, so I tried to go around him and tripped and fell. And one of the bulls happened to see me and gored me in the armpit and the shoulder there.
Ow,
There he is, giving the old thumbs up as he's loaded into an ambulance. A few inches to the right, and we might be telling a different
Closest he'll
story.
get to being a professional athlete.
Dude, it was horrible. It was awful.
Like I hate zoos, right? And I hate any kind of like animal attraction where they make animals do things for. But I love this. Right?
Yeah.
Because the bulls win sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
Well,
15 people have died since records began.
18
and the event
people
made
have died.
famous and popular among Americans in Ernest Hemingway's novel The Sun Also Rises. Last year, Chicago's Bill Hillman got a horn near the groin. This year, he's back for more.
The hole was about this big.
He discovered a fetish after getting stabbed in the groin by that bull.
She is back for more.
He now runs backwards with his legs spread wide open. Get me, you damn bull. Get me now.
And I was gored twice, actually. The horn actually brushed the femoral artery. If it would have severed it, I would have died.
Wow. Darwin loves this. This is like, you might as well name this sport Darwin.
Now, all the bulls die at the end. They herd him down into the bull ring,
Well,
and
good.
they all die.
Yeah,
For trying to kill those humans, they deserve it.
So I said they should kill as many as possible right before, kill as many humans. They're going to kill you anyway. Do it.
Yeah.
Make it even.
So no one has the urge to go over there and run with bulls?
I don't have the urge to run.
kinda do.
What are you talking about?
I don't have the urge
Much
to
less
run.
from bulls.
So you're saying you're not big into fitness. That's what I'm picking up on.
No.
Yeah.
It's always fascinated me that, God, I don't get it. I suppose, you do get your adrenaline running. Why not just run on to 35W then, if that's what you're looking for?
Yeah.
I do wonder if it's like some kind of like a mental thing, like a mental illness. Like the guys who do the parasailing, where they put those wingsuits on, and every once in a while one just slams into a wall, and none of them stop doing it. They just keep
Into
doing
a
it
cliff,
till
yeah.
and another one runs into a cliff or a wall, and I don't get
Can't
that.
live your life in fear. They added a second show. Did you see they're doing it again?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. I think there's 3 shows.
They sold out the first show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's that late
The Bull's
show.
a big draw. Is what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Show. They call it a show.
Yeah, and if you're a tourist on vacation, you're certainly not going to bring your family, right? Oh, come on, everyone. We got to get over there and watch.
Oh, let's go watch idiots get gored.
I don't know. I think it depends on how long you hate your kids. How long you've been with your
Go ahead,
family.
Billy,
that
get in
day.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Get up on my shoulders, Missy, so you can see every gory...
That's actually only 15 ever have died.
Yeah, 18, I think the number was.
That's
It goes back
I
to
would think
Ernest
that's
Hemingway?
Yeah. Well, that's all. I also call shenanigans on that because that implies that Americans read. So that even, I suppose initially it might have sparked some interest, but now I think it's.
I'm pretty sure the people who read Hemingway aren't the same people who run from the Bull.
No,
I think that's 2
probably
different
not.
demographics.
At all. Yeah.
Here's a door. Would you rather read Hemingway or get gored by a bull?
Chuck would be the guy who runs at the Bulls.
While
He'd be
reading
like,
Hemingway.
Bring it on!
While reading Hemingway.
Take you, Bull! Anywho.
I'm surprised it's not more than 15.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Since it started, that's really almost depressing.
Medical
I feel
care's come a long way.
Come on, Bulls.
Come on.
Step up your game.
Come on, bull.
You Bulls are pathetic. Get more people.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a new study out on aging that is like, really? Duh.
How fast are you aging? To answer that question, researchers tracked nearly 1,000 38-year-olds going back a dozen years. Their study finds the pace at which we age varies widely. The subject's biological age ranged from under 30 to more than 60.
Well, that's the key question. We know about aging, 20% is genetic, and we know that from twin studies where we look at the aging of twins in different environments. So at the same time, it's what you do, it's how you live, it's the preventive studies you have. And things like not watching your waistline, things like smoking have a dramatic effect to accelerate aging. Well, I think the important thing about this study, because most studies on aging looked at the elderly, and what this said is that in your 20s, you need to start to pay attention because you can slow that aging process. So that includes, obviously eating the right diet, exercising, being of lean body mass, and really taking care of yourself, whether it be your teeth, whether it be your heart, or others, is starting to say, what's happened in my family, where's family history, and let me focus on it and start preventive treatments.
When I get older,
So they're saying it might already be too late.
Yeah, it's over for me.
Yeah, I think Joey's 75 with the age.
Yes.
So it's like, well, thanks for the study. I'm 54, and nothing I can do now. It's too late.
Yeah, there really is no point to that. Like, if you just you're like, oh, eat healthy and exercise. Yeah, it's not exactly earth-shattering.
Right.
It's not a news flash.
Wait, let me write that down.
Yeah. You can live longer if you treat your body better.
Again, not in the Bible. Not buying it.
Yeah, was this with that oil hack, Indian Nobel Prize winning guy?
Yeah.
That his
Quantum tunneler.
His bullshit.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the pizza honchos to come up with their own study. Pizza, beer, and cigarettes, good for you.
I guarantee there's a study out there somewhere that says that in moderation, it is good for you.
It's not about how long you live. It's about how happy you are.
Yeah.
Before dying young.
Yeah.
And how many bulls you've run from.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're heading up to a break here. When we come back, let's talk about. Can we talk about conspiracies?
Yeah.
Can we?
Can we?
Yeah.
Joe, I understand you got some thoughts on certain issues.
I've got thoughts on everything.
You got to keep it under 3 hours.
Sure.
So it's a 1 hour show.
All right. And then we're going to have the first act of Mice and Men. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. I do a phenomenal Lenny.
Good. See, you're multi-talented. Mm-hmm. Screw Robert Duvall.
Yeah, Lenny, Boo Radley. Yeah, any just like mentally damaged character from American literature, I just knock out of the park.
Any good at My Left Foot? Daniel Day-Lewis?
I'll bring a tear to your eye. I'd have to warm up a little bit. You can't just jump into My Left Foot.
Well, you got 2 minutes. We're taking a break.
All right.
The Twin Cities Hit Show. We'll be right back.
MacMen. Don't let your computer problems drive you mad. We are MacMen, Minnesota's premier tech consultants and problem solvers for Macs, mobile devices, troubleshooting, training, and much more. No more dragging your computer all over town because we come to you. We love making house calls to your home or small business. MacMen. Call 612-345-8005.
The term foodie can sometimes come across as a tickle pretentious. BT and Lydia are here to demystify the term and reclaim it for the sake of good food. Their weekly podcast brings in fellow foodies and culture creators from the Twin Cities to talk about all things food. Find this duo only on the Alive and Social Network.
The one and only Chart House. Your destination, whether dining for two, drinks with friends, or making up for that night with friends. Join us at the Chart House for brunch, dinner, or drinks.
Hi, I'm Josh Ripper, and I'd like to invite you to my restaurant, and I'll buy half your dinner. Go to charthouserestaurant.com to find out more.
Visit charthouserestaurant.com today for your special offer. And then come visit Chart House in person. Your table is waiting.
The Rusty Gatenby Review is the entertaining show about entertainment from movies, music, and more. Award-winning TV guy Rusty Gatenby and his review is the podcast with the biggest cast in entertainment, part of the Alive and Social Network. You can get that Minnesota connection to Hollywood and beyond any time of the day or night simply by clicking on the RustyGatenbyReview.com. That's the RustyGatenbyReview.com, part of the Alive and Social Network.
You're listening to the Twin Cities Hit Show. Say it fast 3 times. We just dare you.
Well, speaking of conspiracies, United Airlines was grounded for a moment this morning.
Obama. God.
Yeah.
Overreach.
Delta.
I blame Boo Radley. Joe, would that fall into... Could there be some conspiracy there?
Who knows? I don't know.
What about
I heard the story today.
What about the Denver airport?
The Denver airport, the huge underground bunker in
Is there?
Denver airport? Well, oh man, see, you're already hitting my buttons. Here's the craziest thing: the Denver airport was like built, right, like this big, huge airport, and they're like, "Hey, we don't like this airport. We're just going to cover it with dirt and then build a second airport on top of that airport." Right? That was like a thing that they actually did. That's on record. That's a legitimate thing. So there's like a structure, a huge structure underneath that they claim they didn't want to use, right? And then they rebuilt the airport on top of it. There's a laundry list of just weird things about the building itself, the length of the airstrips themselves, excessively long than what's needed for normal air traffic there.
What would that allow? Spaceships?
I don't know what it is. Who knows what's the...
Flying aircraft carriers like the Avengers?
Could be. Who knows?
Is that Dick Cheney's bunker? Is that his undisclosed location?
No.
When it went down?
You don't want to be at the Commoners.
And here's the thing that that it's not outlandish, because my sister, who is a marine biologist and she works for the government, but she was down, I want to say it was Greenville, the country club, where there was a bunker under there for decades.
About the hidden one? With the hidden disclosure?
For decades. And now you can tour it. Right. So you when you go, that's outlandish. Well, no,
it's right here behind this wall. It's right here.
And it was
more outlandish than people owning people.
Right.
That's true. Like once you accept the fact that happened, and that happened for a long time, you're like, well, okay, then I think anything is fair game.
That makes sense.
What's the conspiracy that gets your button pushed the hardest?
9/11. That's the one I've lived through.
What 9/11? You mean like 911?
Yeah.
The phone system? That exists, dude. Try calling it. It exists. Am I off?
What's wrong with what's going on with 9/11?
Well, we know for a fact that it's not the story that we were told. We know that.
We know for a fact. How so?
For a fact, because there's 28 redacted pages within the 9/11 Commission report that we're not allowed to see, that other politicians have seen and said that it actually implicates Saudi Arabia in possibly being the middleman or funneling money to, or
prominent.
helping put together the plan even of 9/11 happening.
Now, have you heard Jesse Ventura talk about it in his specials? Right, he's done a couple of. We had that whole.
I know
show
he's done stuff about 9/11 before. I haven't heard his take on it specifically. I know he's a doubter like I am.
Part of it is he was saying the buildings wouldn't have fallen like that, and the the jet fuel would not have melted the skyscraper structure.
Yeah. Those are absolute facts. Those are all things that you can confirm. Those things that you can apply science to and look at. Here's a big thing about the excuse of why they brought down, of how the towers came down. They said something about the heat of the fires within the towers made metal expand, and that metal expand would basically pull the towers in on themselves. That was kind of the BS science that they put out there. Well, here's the deal. If that's the case, right? If there's a default in the system that a fire like that could bring down those towers, wouldn't like the very first thing you do like change the way you build buildings, right? Once you stop doing that,
well,
right?
You would hope, but
because it's a failure in the building. Because if a fire happens, you don't want to build another building like that. Well, none of the building codes have changed. They're building tall skyscrapers like that the exact same way with the exact same technology that has not changed.
I would just say that's stupid humans, though, there, and not necessarily a conspiracy. That's someone saving money and being dumb. I mean, look how long we flew with cell phones going, you got to turn your cell phone off or you're going to bring the plane down.
You look at any other structural failure, engineering failure out there, as soon as they do that, the government agencies that look over that, they're like, well, this is what went wrong and now we can't do this way anymore. They've done that with you pick any other disaster where a building collapsed or a bridge collapsed, that's the first thing they do is they find the problem, they fix the problem, they make sure that's not something that can be reproduced. The group Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth actually filed a trying to pass a law in New York to make that happen. It's like, well, wait a minute, this is your excuse of why these buildings came down.
Yeah.
Then we need to change the building code immediately because right now they're throwing up buildings left and right with the exact same default that you claim brought down these buildings, but then that got thrown out.
Well, they're fixing airport security. No one could ever steal a plane again.
Right.
They fortified the cockpit. Some of the pilots are armed. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
TSA caught 3 of the 70 bombs that were smuggled through in that test.
Yeah. See? I call that success. That's 3.
That's 3 out of that's only 67 that got past them.
You know what we need is more technology and equipment. That's what we need. More money into that.
Yeah.
Stop flying.
Yeah.
Stay where you are. Why you moving around?
United did stop flying for a moment today.
Yep.
So who did it then? Who, Mr. Conspiracy? Who did it?
Huh?
did it?
Huh?
Who did 9/11?
Huh? Tough guy? Huh?
With at the part like you. Like
What?
as
It
a
got
police
confrontational all of a sudden.
Come on.
As a police officer, right? You first need to determine that a crime happened and how the crime happened, and from there you extrapolate.
And
out
from there you find
and
the
go,
black guy.
right? And beat him severely. Whatever. That's not the point right now.
Oh.
The point is we need to reinvestigate what happened.
Yeah.
There's enough evidence right now to know that the story that we're being told is not true. That's plain. That's simple. We need to investigate from there and go out. I have ideas. I have things, but it's speculation at this point. The fact that we just need to determine that this was not what we were told. That's the biggest issue right now.
Well, especially given like how many times Republicans have investigated Benghazi, which there might be something there. I grant you that, but still, okay, 4 contractors versus everyone that died in Iraq, and you don't want to, lift up a few rocks to see, into that. And we know we were lied to, but you don't care about that. Yeah. The fact that House Republicans will investigate Benghazi 47, 48, 49 times, and then just not happen to look into 9/11 at all.
That's the funny connection, because the whole thing with Benghazi and all that stuff, it all stems from the war on terror anyway.
Yeah.
So it's so much has changed on an epic scale in this country and the world because of 9/11. And we're talking trillions and trillions of dollars invested because of 9/11, right?
Well,
so we need to figure out what this catalyst was. We don't even understand what actually happened and why we're doing the things that we're doing now and buying what we're buying and killing who we're killing.
Well, and that's the thing is it isn't even a genuine investigation. It's more like the superficial, well, we can pin it on Hillary for 2016. It goes so much deeper than that. It's not it's not a Democratic Party or Republican Party thing. It's a military-industrial complex that feeds on this endless war that it doesn't matter who's in office, Bush or Obama. You kill people different ways, but still it's the same sort of cycle. I mean, now with ISIS, who used to be an ally in Syria, and now we're fighting them. It's like, well, we trained them, we funded them, and now we're fighting
over
them.
And over and over with terrorism.
It was Saddam Hussein in the 80s. He was our guy, funded him, helped him out, and then we turned on him later.
Bin Laden.
Yeah.
Chuck Gollop.
Only a matter of time.
It is. So you, Mr. Conspiracy Theory, and I'm looking at Joey here.
It's on my card.
Yeah. So who would
Is this what life is like for you?
Yeah.
Like, I like the idea that you're just on the street and people are like, Mr.
That's
Conspiracy
him.
Theory.
That's him. That's the conspiracy guy.
I own it as a badge of honor at this point.
Yeah.
I've dealt with it for so long, and I've only came around 2008 was when I kind of was like, oh, I better stop defending this lie because this is exactly what it is. But I don't care anymore because I think that there's too many people out now actively try to shame people for asking these questions. Well, you can't do that. You can't. You're hurting the families of the 9/11 victims. It was the families of the 9/11 victims that started the whole investigation to start with. They're the ones that have these questions from the get-go.
So
it's the shame is in the people who are just poo-pooing on the idea of it even possibly happening and not asking a question.
Who do you pick then as your panel to do the investigation?
Oh man,
Hans Blix. I pick Hans Blix, the weapons inspector.
Oh.
From
yeah.
That was a joke. I wouldn't.
Okay. Great guy.
I almost Googled that.
Yeah.
Almost. I was just fingers poised on the keys. Okay.
Jared from Subway should appoint someone.
Yeah, he knows how to look things up on the internet. That's for sure.
Yeah, but how do you do it fairly? I mean, as Robert points out, look at Benghazi and the different committees we've appointed to investigate that, and we've still never gotten near the answer.
Well, it needs to be people not attached to the government in any kind of way, but that actually deal within the sciences involved.
Mhm.
And that's why I always turn to architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth. They have a panel now, a growing panel. It's 2,000 or 3,000 different architects and engineers.
Is that the name of the group?
That's the actual.
Give me that name again.
Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. Okay. And they do really, really good work on the science of the collapsing of the towers and of Building 7 as well. And they take a no-nonsense thing, and they get a lot of expert opinion, a lot of things I had no concept of. I was kind of educated by looking up their things and trying to confirm their stuff. And then it's not like the conspiracy thing.
Building 7 is also the name of Joey's band.
Cool.
Yeah,
they bring the house down.
They do.
The inside jobbers.
and the inside jobbers.
Yeah, that was my
The inside jobbers.
I like that ballad you wrote. It's a fantastic song. I have a conspiracy. Robert does not like the show and wants to leave in like a minute or two.
This has nothing to do with me not liking the show.
What is? You have a secret meeting? You've got a shadow life that you're going to?
You're going to leave free false
I have a shadow life. Yeah, no, it's
Boo Radley
yes, it's Boo Radley the musical. No, I gotta go. My girlfriend's at work, and I gotta do a little. I got a cat thing. She's got some cats, so it's
Do a cat thing.
related mission. I got to do a cat thing.
What happened to you?
Yeah, seriously.
I don't.
When I met this man, he was just slinging puss left and right.
Now he's slinging puss.
Now
He's
it's
feeding
actual
puss.
cats.
That's
where it's
taking care of puss.
Yeah.
Where can people catch you, or how can we keep up with you?
No one can keep up with me.
Yeah.
I'm
Try
playing-
to keep up with me.
Cat sitting, so
No
that's
one
life
can
in the
keep
fast
up with
lane.
me.
All right, Robert Baril 1 on Twitter. BarilComedy.com is the website. I'm at Acme Comedy Company all next week with Jackie Cation and Mike Kaplan. And then Laughing Matters is my AM radio show. Joey and I have AM radio shows. Mine's Laughing Matters, and that's Saturdays at 7 p.m. And you can go to am950radio.com, live and local, and all the shows are archived there.
In what were you guys laughing about on the last episode?
What were we laughing about? I think, let's see. I think we talked vaguely. I remember, I think gay marriage. I think that was, I had the last pre-tape that I did. It was on the recent Supreme Court rulings, the Obamacare and gay marriage.
And the angle being, why is everyone so uptight?
Yeah, no, I'm staunchly against both of those. So it was no, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I feel like I almost have to be, though, because a lot of the comics are pretty liberal when it comes to social issues. So there really isn't much of a debate
Well, I'm
on
against
there
gay
until
healthcare, so.
Yeah, Joey just,
I don't want my medical plan to be gay.
It wasn't that the beauty of Stephen Colbert that he was able to adopt this right-wing character?
The thing that's fascinating about Colbert, and I was reading an article, I think it was on Slate about it, how there really aren't any conservative satirists, and that's because, and I kind of agree with this theory, but it's like the humor that conservatives tend to like is like more broad, more obviously funny, whereas like liberals tend to enjoy like irony, satire, that sort of thing. And there is some truth to that because they did this study, and I forget what the percentage was. It was pretty high, like 60 or 70% of the conservatives didn't realize that it was an act that Colbert was doing. Like they were laughing, but they didn't get that he was being sarcastic the entire time.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
this guy should run for president.
Absolutely.
And your stuff, I know you got to run, but some of your stuff is political, right? That's your angle.
Yeah. Some of it's political. I mean, even the stuff like I'll throw in references anyway because that's just how I operate. So even if I'm talking about sex or whatever, I'll still have a Harry Truman reference or something like that.
Harry.
Yeah.
Is that a euphemism for your penis?
Yes.
I'm gonna whip out my Harry Truman.
Used to be here. It's summer now. You know, you gotta
Important summer cut, are you?
It looks more like Ike. Not gonna lie.
Jacket and all.
Yeah, its real age is like 87. I haven't been taking good care of it.
Again, I know you got to run, but two questions I got to ask you.
Okay.
You got to be loving that Donald Trump's in this, right?
Yeah.
Should we be afraid though that he's doing as well as he is right now?
No, it's so early. Like you were saying, Michelle Bachmann won a straw poll. Like it doesn't mean
scared
anything
me,
right now.
It did kind of scare me.
Yeah, but
Jesse Ventura won for governor. That's what frightens me.
Well, that's a state. That's different than an entire country. But even he, compared to some of the governors that we've had, I mean,
yeah.
And that's the way the system's set up too. It doesn't really matter who's in charge anyway. Like they're going to sit you down and tell you what you're going to do for the most part. And so even if it is Donald Trump, like again, that's part of the disenchantment that a lot of liberals had with Obama. Even from the get-go, is because he was sold as like, oh, he can do anything. And then it's like, well, no, there's a Congress.
Right.
And he can do some executive orders, but those can be overturned when the next president comes in anyway. So the idea that who the president is even matters all that much, it might make a difference when it comes to like appointing Supreme Court members and stuff. But
Or bombing Iraq.
But it doesn't really matter. I mean, the last 4 presidents have attacked Iraq. So that's just going to happen regardless, Iraq. So sorry. Like, it doesn't matter who's getting, just, keep your head down.
Tough times.
Yeah.
Who do you want to win? Who do you want to be the next president?
Who do I want to win? I want Bernie Sanders to win. But again, even that, like, even if Bernie Sanders does get elected, if you still have Republicans that control the House of Representatives and you still have the Supreme Court the way it is, like he can make some modest changes that I think would be very good. And I will vote for him, assuming things stay the way they are. But ultimately, like you're only going to tip the scales a few degrees one way or the other, regardless of who's in.
Don't you feel the scales of society shifting though? It's been a huge summer with gay rights.
But that's not like they talk about how it's Obama's legacy, and that's bullshit. Like I get that Obama was president, but that's people. That's people, that's a mass movement, and that's businesses and political leaders are like, well, I guess we just have to agree with this now because there's this huge tidal wave. So really, that isn't even the president. That's just like the people standing up and saying, this is bull. It does help.
He's on the sidelines being the mascot going, yay,
absolutely.
Gay.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's why I am voting for Bernie Sanders and not a Ted Cruz. It's for those instances.
God.
But I'm not. At the same time, I'm not going to be delusional enough to think that that's all we have to do is vote for Bernie, and then all of a sudden everything's free and you can just go have sex in the yard, and it doesn't. I mean, I still might do that regardless, but like things are still going to be kind of shitty.
Yeah. Well, on that note,
all right, I'm off.
Okay. Well, there we go.
All right,
Thanks
sunshine.
So much.
Good job.
Be kind to your cat. All right.
Remember to hug everyone. He's very
Speaking of conspiracy theory, Joe, do you think when a president sits down, is he presented with a blue book about UFOs and alien contact?
I don't know. That's I enjoy. Like I'll look into alien stuff just for the fun of it sometimes. But there's so much other real, tangible stuff that's so much more important that actually results in the death of people.
Thanks, Robert. Drive safe.
More of a focus point for me. The alien things, who knows? Maybe.
I mean, what was that? I think it was maybe on an episode of Vice where Obama said, no, there's absolutely no blue book.
I don't believe anything Obama says to start with. So.
Just because
or any president, just to be clear.
I was going to say.
It's not just him. It's all of them.
You should take some of this stuff and like do something with it. I mean, like you have some thoughts. You should do like a podcast or a radio show or something.
Yeah, I should totally get into podcasting and radio.
You should, yeah.
That's a joke because he has a podcast and a radio show.
I was just going to let it sit there. See if you Yes, I do a radio show called Pardon the Dissent now. It's on AM 950. Right now, just on Monday nights, but we're actually going to move to a 4-night a week format here pretty soon.
Nice.
Don't you scare yourself then going, how can you sleep at night, Joe, with all this? Oh my God, there's all these dark hidden things.
I don't. It's negative. I always tell people I wish I never looked into that. I wish I could be the people who care about their fantasy football team stats, and I wish I could do that. I wish I never took time to read books about history. I wish I never took time to care about things, because it has distracted me. It has affected me in a negative way, and has changed and prevented me from doing some of the things that I really, really enjoy doing.
Really? Okay.
For myself.
Tell me about that.
Comedy's been directly affected.
Yeah.
Me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I resigned my position as a comedian at House of Comedy because I don't want to support the Mall of America in any kind of way after the treatment of the people of Black Lives Matter, and that's because I'm in this weird dichotomy. Like, do I focus on myself as a comedian, where you got to be really self-centered to be a comic, right? You got to care about yourself, and it's all about you, and you got to fight because it's a struggle and there's a lot of competition, but I feel like I have this debt to the world that I share with all my fellow human beings, that there's some important things that we're not thinking about, right? And that's us as a population within this country, and to a degree the world. It's like we worry about the Kardashians, we worry about this, and and not to diminish what happened. 9 people get shot in a church, right? And everybody gets all emotional about that, but the drone war that's happened out there has killed, going on, thousands of innocent people. Women and children are getting killed left and right with our tax dollars, and it's happening
in Pakistan and Afghanistan,
and Yemen, and everywhere else that they can fly one of those things. It's
doesn't that fall under the umbrella of there's always collateral damage in war?
Yeah, but I can't go by that excuse. That's the excuse that they tell us, and we're like, oh well, these guys who were in office with suits on, they said it's collateral damage, so now we're supposed to accept that. No, we're not supposed to accept the killing and the extinguishing of innocent human life. If that was the excuse that they used on you in your neighborhood, well, hey, we just droned your neighborhood here in America. You guys, everybody would lose. Now, I'm not trying to focus,
right.
But I mean, everybody would lose their damn mind.
Mm-hmm.
These cops can't use these drones to kill because they're looking for a bank robber. They can't drone the whole neighborhood. Well, that's exactly what we're doing in these other countries. And just because there's an imaginary line on the planet, when you look at a map, that we're supposed to think differently about those deaths versus the deaths that we deal with here.
We're supposed to think differently about the atomic bombs on Japan.
Right.
Yeah. And that was millions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not millions. But
not millions. What was the number?
I can't remember.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I suppose, a couple of hundred?
Substantial.
Thousand? I don't know, 40, 80,000? But, and the thought being that, that was so horrific but so needed because it ultimately saved lives.
Well, that was the
166,000.
The war was already trending down. We just wanted to bomb some stuff and make an establishment. Like, look what we can do, rest of the world. This is what we've got right now.
Yeah.
250,000 between those
250,000, and those were most certainly a majority women and children.
Yeah. We always want to pick these independent people who are doing these killings here in America and make them the bad guy, but America as a whole is responsible for the deaths of literally millions of people. Just in Iraq alone, we've killed over 1 million people. Human lives are dead, and we paid for that, right? Like, we're all, if you're taxpayers, you're a murderer. It's just like hiring somebody to kill somebody, and we need to take that in and absorb that and recognize that and deal with that and change the way that we affect the rest of the world. America.
How do you fight the terrorists then? How do you keep America safe from the bad guys?
Well, we fight the terrorists, number one, by stopping creating terrorists. That would be a good first step, because if you bomb my house and you kill my kid, guess what? I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to bomb your house and I'm going to kill your kid. And that's the way I'm going to react. And that's the reaction. That's what's happening.
And the fear, though, is if we put our guns down, they're such a threat now, they're going to march in and kill us.
How? When was the last? They're not going to march in here and kill anything.
Yeah.
We can set up an adequate defense. We have the strongest military on the planet. We spend $700 billion a year, isn't it?
I see.
Like more than the top other 5 countries combined. I mean, we know how to kill people.
That's where I struggle, because I think the fight against terrorism is not a military one, and we agree on that. But I also agree on the homeland; it's not a military one too. So we're using a military solution overseas because that's the quick fix and what we know, and we're using a military solution here is not going to work either. I don't think you can fight terrorism, but when you chop off the head, as we keep doing, it does. It's like cockroaches. It just multiplies times 10, and we create a lot more people.
And the thing that I don't think people appreciate, and this maybe will kind of touches on conspiracy a little bit, but a lot of what goes on over there and what's reported over here isn't as bad as what they're telling us that it is. Right? They want these areas of the world that just conveniently have lots of natural resources like oil. They want them destabilized. They want to be able to have a military an excuse to have a military presence in there, because then we can extrapolate their resources and profit from that. Right? All these countries that we're dealing with right now, Syria, Iraq, Ukraine to a degree,
Iran, nuclear.
They're all connected to a natural resource based thing that we can profit off of, and we want to control that region. That's why we have 900 plus military bases all over the country, because we want to control these regions.
Thanks to the lovely clean efforts of fracking, isn't the oil over there becoming less needed?
How so?
Because now aren't we producing or getting more oil than the Middle East?
No, not producing more. That's impossible. And not even fracking itself is a dirty byproduct oil. It's not even the high quality grade oil that you're getting from there to make the high end petroleum products and the fuels and things like that. Fracking it's like Band-Aid as far as fuel needs and things like that. But we're talking about a finite resource that's eventually going to run out. And it all comes down to how much who's going to control the majority of the amount for how long, and that's the people who are going to run the planet.
I like that driving into Vegas now, you can, if you're coming in from California, the biggest solar setup right now, I believe in the United States, is about to come online.
Really?
I mean, isn't that the way? I mean, the sunshine, shouldn't every one of these roofs have solar panels?
Yeah, I think that was in France just now, and I don't like the idea of forcing it to happen, but they actually passed a law that all new structures being built either had to have like a green, like some kind of growth, like plants on the roof, or some kind of solar project going on to help contribute that.
And you would think that would put people to work as well. And then when you take the focus off of oil, it's like, yeah, we really don't need to be over in that beehive of the Middle East.
I don't proclaim to know exactly what it would take, and I don't know if we could ever, oil is everywhere, right? Like everything, these cords and these microphones. There's 7 gallons of oil in every tire on your car. When you count the transportation from the tire plant to wherever you buy your tire, it's in everything, right? So I don't know if we'll ever be able to pull away completely. People say that things like hemp products, you can produce all the things that oil can do. They say you can produce with hemp. So there's things out there, but we're not even trying, at least to a sizable amount, to do it.
Right.
It
has become cost effective. You got to get over that curve. I mean, there was a time when a DVD player was $1,200, and now you can get it for $30.
Right.
So it's got to.
We just got to bite the bullet and do it. How much have we spent in Iraq? If we spent that much just on solar and hemp products and things like that,
we spent $37,000. That's outrageous.
The check bounce too. The check bounce.
No kidding.
That would be outrageous.
So you talk about life balance and not having to give up some things that matter. How do you sleep, man? I mean, you threw out like numbers.
I already asked them that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. Here's my thing. I call it kind of my punishment. Right? And this is what I mean by that. And Chuck, you know me. And earlier in my life, I was a piece of shit, right? Like I was not a great guy, right? I was a crack dealer. I used to run with unsavory types. I was a cancer on the world, right? Not a small one relative to some other things, but I had a negative impact, right? And then as I progressed and as I started doing mushrooms and trying to understand myself, I swear that's an absolute truth. I started doing a lot of understanding myself and kind of looking into myself, and like even me as an individual could have a positive impact as much as I can have a negative impact. So maybe I should start caring about some of these things that are we all need to be caring about, and being a voice for that, and that maybe I can contribute to something. I don't have a lot of money I contribute or anything else I can do. I can at least be a voice for this, or be something that just raises their hand and say, hey, dead people, we did it right there. Be that.
And how do you find, air quotes, the truth? Because that's my biggest frustration. You go on the internet, you don't know what is actually factual or not factual. I mean, you can find arguments with quoted scientists and cool-sounding research institutes that'll spin you any of 100 ways.
Yeah, any kind of. It takes a lot of legwork. I mean, you can't just use the internet. You know, you need to confirm. If someone tells you something on the internet, you're like, well, you write that fact down.
By the way, Joey, there's porn on the internet.
Really?
I heard this.
Talk about a conspiracy there.
Gross.
Right? It's really hard to look up 9/11 and masturbate at the same time. But
No,
I've done it.
I manage.
So you got to vet. You got to really do the legwork.
You got to do it. When somebody says they're an expert in this thing, so I'm a steel expert. I used to work in the steel industry and I used to work for this company. Well, it's easy to look up where that person is and who he is. And he did used to work for the steel industry, and he was actually fired when he came out and said that the steel used in the skyscrapers during 9/11 shouldn't have melted.
See, that's just too much work. I'm just going to listen to your show. I'm going to let you do all the work, and then I'm just going to tune into your show. When is it again?
It's right now. It's Monday nights, 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. is the live show. That way you can call in and do all that stuff and tell me I'm crazy or whatever. But there's plenty of outlets after that. It's available as a podcast after that. And we live stream. We've got listeners worldwide at this point. We got people in New Zealand and all over the United States. So it's really kind of coming together from that angle.
You're going to be syndicated then like they used to?
I would love to. I would love to make it a national show. And that's what I've built it as. And I didn't want it to have a local feel. I wanted it to be to talk about things that were applied to anybody.
Who was that guy in the desert? He used to have his overnight radio, and I think it was on AM 1500. George Norrie or...
what's it called? He did... Because he's actually coming back. He's
trying to podcast his way back in.
Yeah.
Podcasts. Those things are never
I'm just blanking the name of it.
Anyway, yours sounds much better. Before because we've killed an hour here. Before I let you go, though, in your opinion, if I'm going to Vegas and I'm going to put money on, who is responsible for 9/11? What's the best bet in your mind?
It's probably a collective of people. You need to. It's as it is with anything else. It's always follow the money. Is find out who profited.
But who? Who would profit from this?
Well, the U.S. government profited because the military-industrial complex needs money, right? So that's what they did. They created something that was going to lead to them spending a whole lot of money and it being justified.
So Cheney is that evil that he could do this?
Yeah. I think that's the thing. You as a cop, you guys know that that on a low scale that people will do some pretty notorious evil things for a few $100, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, when you get to that level, the mentality of evil human beings doesn't change. There's still that capacity to do evil things. But then when you're at that scale and you have that kind of influence and that kind of pull, your crimes just get bigger, right?
Oh. I always profited pretty well when there was crime or terrorism. I got time and a half for everything.
And Harvey Oswald, lone shooter?
No, not at all.
Damn it. UFOs, real or fake?
I want to hope they're real. I want to hope that we're not the plateau, the level of intelligence in the universe. I want to hope there's more.
Chuck Alps, real or fake?
We'll find out after the show.
They do appear to be lactating, and that's gross. I'm calling Jared. Well, Joey, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Guests today were Joey Vincent and Robert Baril.
I hope Robert's pussy is doing all right.
Yeah.
I mean that in a feline way.
Yes, of course you do.
Who do we got tomorrow? No one?
We got no one. It's just you and me, Mr.
All right, and then our 100th show, though, we have Mary Jane Alm tomorrow afternoon at the Chart House.
Yep.
Oh, we didn't really thank 3rd Street and Blue and White Taxi.
No, we didn't.
Blue and White Taxi. Yeah. Going to be starting to shuttle down to the Chart House for our afternoon shows.
Yeah.
So how about that?
And they're for those of us that are idiots and hate phones, which is me. They have their 7-3s program, which is the phone program you dial in. But guess what? You can do everything online now through an app. You don't have to talk to a human until a taxi driver shows up.
And you do all the money beforehand, so there's no worry about you can use all your cash in the bar and your ride home has been paid for. How about that? No conspiracy there.
Love it.
All right.
Love it.
I love you, Chuck.
I love you, Rusty, and Joey.
God, that sounded awful. All right.
I like you guys.
Hey, it's getting hot in here. We'll see you tomorrow.